Hi, today I'm going to talk about book promo sites which actually work. Okay, two things before I begin. One is that I am not being reimbursed, credited. I'm not getting anything from these companies that I'm about to recommend. I'm just recommending them because they've worked well for me, and I just wanted to pass that on to people. I think they're reputable companies. I have generally had good results with them, and I thought you could use this knowledge. So that's number one. Number two, I will be giving you the prices for if you give away a book for free with these services, or if you give one away when you sell one for like 99 cents or at a discounted rate. I know a lot of people do not like to give away books for free. And I get it to a degree because you're like, I worked really hard on my book, which, yeah, we do. But I have found it to be overall a good strategy because just like in Costco, where you get the free sample, I mean, you don't always buy the thing that you got the free sample for, but some people do. And they wouldn't keep doing it if they weren't making money. And in general, I have made money out of these promos where I give books away for free because I have a significant backlist. I have something like 27 books right now. So definitely books within that same series. If I give away the free first book for free, often people will come and get the other books. Not always, because there are some people who just like free books. So that's, for me, it has been a good sales strategy. It has introduced me to a lot of people. It gets my books in Kindles, and those are things that are important to me. And particularly, even if you don't have a big backlist right now, getting your book out there is important. And, I think you've probably already figured out you can't just like put it for sale on Amazon and expect people to find you, because that doesn't always happen. So these are strategies which have worked for me and for others. Your mileage may vary, but I just wanted to, let you know this is what I do. The first company I really like is the Fussy Librarian. And one of the reasons why I like Fussy is it's kind of small. Of these three groups, I believe it's the smallest company. And the upside to that is it's great customer service, because I believe it might be run by one person, but he gets back to you really quickly. His rates are really reasonable, and it has like a very decent reach. Like, I believe for their bargain books, they have 125,000 subscribers, so readers who get their bargain book list every day. And then for the free newsletter, for free books, is 570,000. So that's a lot of people. And I'm going to give you just comparisons for historical romance here, because that's primarily what I write. So, for instance, if I wanted to put a book up for 99 cents on their bargain list, it would reach 42,647 subscribers as of today. And the ad itself would cost me $18, which is pretty good. And then if I wanted to do a free book, their free list for historical romance is 353,000 people, which is a lot, and it would cost $69. I believe with Fussy, you could do an ad every single month if they have availability, because some of them you have to wait longer than that between times. They also, if you are on their list and you're one of the authors who advertises with them, they do have sales a couple times a year where the prices are basically like half of what they are. So that is really great. Whenever they have the sale, especially, I get on that thing. I have had good results with that. I almost always get my money, I earn my money back even with the free books, because again, I have a big backlist. People will get the free book, and enough people will have bought the others that I at least break even, if not make a profit. So I really, the barrier to entry is fairly low with this as well, because I don't believe that they require a certain number of reviews. You have to have like a decent cover, but basically what happens is you go in their availability list and you pick a date, and it says like a vacancy, and then you try to reserve the date, and then they get back to you to say whether or not they're going to accept your book. For the most part, as long as your book has a decent cover and there aren't any huge like red flags in your reviews or something, you'll get accepted for that. So that's nice, because it can be hard in some of the others which get really competitive to actually book a slot. So Fussy is a very dependable place to get the word out and advertise your books. So thumbs up. The next company on my list is e-Reader News Today, sometimes abbreviated ENT. And again, like Fussy, it's a reputable company. I have used them for years. I've had good results with them. They are a little bit harder to get into, and the requirements a little bit more than Fussy. For instance, you can only advertise with them once every 3 months, whereas with Fussy, I believe you can do it every month. They don't have a minimum number of reviews for your book in order to be accepted, but I believe they used to. For some reason, I think it used to be like 15 reviews. So if you do submit with them and you only have like 1 or 2 reviews and they don't accept your book, it could be that they just want a few more reviews in there. So, excuse me, maybe wait and then try again. For the most part, for all 3 of these services, if your book is rejected, you don't get a reason why. They just reject it. And a lot of times it's just because they have so many submissions, they can't take everything. So that, just keep that in mind. As with so many other things, don't take it personally. For their list is pretty big. They have 500,000 readers on Facebook, or 5,000 followers on Facebook. And their email, which goes out to readers, is 200,000. So that's a little bit bigger than Fussy. It's a good number of people to reach. Their prices are a little bit more than Fussy as well. And once again, I'm giving you the historical romance prices because that's what I write. So to do a free book, to give a book away for free for them is $55. And then if you have a 99-cent book, it's $75. And that's for historical romance. So that compares to the 18 for a bargain book with Fussy and 69 for the free book. You've got 75 for the bargain book and 55 for the free book. So there's a difference. Again, I like them. They also have something that's like a featured deal. And so basically they have the newsletter and they have this like, in a very prominent spot, they'll have like the, featured book of the day or something. I have never actually done that. So that's why I'm not talking about it more. I have a friend who's done it. He had good results with it. Again, I really like this company. They're not trying to like rip you off. So I'm assuming it would be a good thing to do, but I just don't have personal experience to talk about it. But anyway, e-Reader News Today, good company, good results. The final company is Bookbub, and it's the big one. It's the most expensive, but it's also the one that I've done the best with. It is almost assured every time I do a Bookbub ad, I at least break even, if not make a little bit of money with it. But there's also some downsides. So this is the one, in part because it is such a big thing, I'm also going to criticize it a little bit, but warrant it. Okay, so for Bookbub, they have what they called featured deals. And it's very similar to the other 2 companies. You can pay a certain money to have them either give your book away for free or to give it away for a bargain price. And it could be like 99 cents, $1.99, or $2.99. Excuse me. And the featured deals are very, very competitive. They say that they reject 80% of the submissions that they get. So that's a pretty high rejection rate. And once again, they don't tell you why you get rejected. They just say, sorry, it's not going to happen. Also, they're very picky that if you have one book and you get a featured deal with them, you cannot feature that book again on Bookbub for another 6 months. As an author, you could have a deal as long as it's different books once a month, but you can't do it more frequently than once a month. So you just have to, if you have multiple books, you could do, conceivably, you could do 1 book a month if you had enough money to pay for those ads. So speaking of that, once again, these are the historical romance figures. The, the list that they have for historical romance. Okay, they have historical romance list is 1.12 million people. So every day, 1.12 million people get historical romance listings from Bookbub. And this is actually one of the newsletters that as a reader, it's really good to sign up for, because not only do they have a lot of indie authors, they have like a lot of famous authors on there, and you'll get like some of their backlists for like $1.99. So it's kind of a nice thing. There's always a book on there that I want to get. So it's a good selection as a reader and then also as an author. So with that 1.12 million readers of historical romance. If I want to give my book away for free, it is going to set me back a cool $482, right? So before I get the privilege of giving my book away, I have to fork over $482 in order to then just give away my work for free. If I want to charge $99 for my book and give it away for that amount of money, I would have to fork over $699 for that ad. The price keeps going up until I think it tops out for historical romance. If you sell a book for like $299 on there, I believe that the ad costs $2,400. So, that's a lot of money. I have never, I think I've done a 99-cent book, but I've never done anything more than that. The bad news about Bookbub is I don't think they have refreshed their list. So their list of historical romance readers, 1.12 million. Impressive. But it has been about that for the whole time that I have been advertising with them, which has been over a decade. And as far as I can tell, I don't think they've refreshed that list that much. And so the bad news is it's not like I've got a fresh 1.12 million people every month that I have an ad looking at my books. I think a lot of it, and maybe, they lose some, probably they get some new ones, but it's mostly the same people. So it's diminishing returns for me. Like there were years, like way back in the past, where I would be able to give away like 30,000 books in a month. And now it's like 3 or 4, well, actually maybe 4 or 5,000 books. Because, once somebody has your book, they can't get it a second time. They can go on to get other books of yours. But for the most part, the 1.12 million people on that list have either seen my stuff and gotten it already, or they've seen my stuff and they're like, no, I'm not going to get that. So it's not, I wish they had a little bit more diversity on that list of like new people, but at the same time, it'd be good if I had more new books too. So there's a little bit of blame to be distributed everywhere. But all in all, for me, it's a great place. It's a solid, I get very excited every time I get a Bookbub ad. So a feature deal. So that's great. Now, in addition to the feature deals, Bookbub has some advantages to it. First of all, they have a list. Like if you're one of the Bookbub authors, you can get a page on there and people can follow you. And that way they can review your books, which is a good way, a good thing you can, sort of comment like, oh, thank you for reviewing my book. They also, every time you have a featured deal, which is an ad, they'll send out an email to the people who follow you and say, oh, Maureen Driscoll has a featured deal on historical romance today, so they can maybe look for the book. Also, and this is amazing, if I have a new book, just a new book in general, I can add it to my list on my page on Bookbub, and Bookbub automatically sends an email to all of my US followers saying that I have a new book out. So it doesn't cost me anything. And so that they don't, because I think I have like 3,300 followers just in general. And then I think as far as US followers, I think that's probably like maybe 2,400 or something. And so 2,400 people will get this email that doesn't cost me anything, telling them I have a new book out. And I have definitely noticed sales from that. So that, and again, it's completely free. So that is something that I really, really, really appreciate. And I really, really hope they don't start charging for that, because it'd be really sad. So in addition to that, they also have another category called new releases for less. So if you don't get a feature deal, what you can do is you can do one of these like new releases. So the book just comes out, it's like $2.99, $3.99. You do have to pay for that, but it is a specific list. It's curated. Again, they don't accept everybody who does that. But it does, it's another way of advertising. And the other thing about Bookbub is that they don't require a minimum number of reviews when they're looking at books to take. But for the most part, they get so many submissions that a lot of the books which are taken many of them, not all, but many of them have a lot of reviews and they have like really high ratings. So if you have a new book, it's not as likely to be accepted as a future deal. But this, which is specifically for new releases, might be a good place for you to do that. They also have an audiobook service. I don't have any audiobooks. I think I've gone over this before because I just don't. I should, but I don't. But that is a place that you could reach readers as well. So it definitely, and the other thing which I have only recently started doing is they have Bookbub ads. Now that is different from featured deals. Featured deals is a thing where you submit this, they have set prices, in this case, $482 for historical romance. And they accept, again, only 20% of the submissions that they get. Now they're ads because they have the newsletter that comes out every day. And at the very bottom of that, they have an ad. And you can get an ad in that. And there's to the best of my knowledge, I don't really think they have a curated process for that. All you have to do is have the highest bid. Now, there are probably some exceptions to that. Like if you have like a terrible cover or, something that violates their terms of service, then you probably can't get an ad. But, you bid on whether or not you want to pay for cost per click or, just impressions. And it's another way of getting eyes on your book. And what I usually do is I just had a book, which I wish they would take as a cozy mystery because it is a cozy mystery, but Bookbub refuses to take it as a cozy mystery. So they take it as time travel romance, which it also is. And so I had it for free and the time travel romance featured deal. But I also, at the same time, since the book was already free, I did an ad and I said free cozy mystery. So see, I got the cozy mystery in there despite their best efforts. So, I guess I still had to pay them. So I didn't really pull anything over there. I didn't pull a fast one. I had to pay for it. But it was good. I did get a lot of hits on that. And the book was already free. So it was sort of, I got the featured deal as a time travel romance. I got the ad as a cozy mystery, which is what I really wanted. And it did well. So if you're going to spend some money, and if you're fortunate enough to get an ad, Bookbub it's the big guy. And I keep looking, but I really haven't found anything better. Now the other two, Fussy Librarian and eReader News Today, if you're talking about dollars spent versus dollar, reaped, it's about the return on investment is about the same, I think. But obviously, you spend a lot more, you get a lot more with Bookbub. So it's always gratifying when you get more money coming in. So I think that's it. All three of those companies that I talked about today, I really like. Hopefully they will work out for you as well. If you know someplace that is a great place to market books, please leave a comment. We can all check it out because marketing is horrible. In some respects, I don't know if it's worse. I don't know if it's harder than writing the book, but it feels like it's harder than writing the book because at some point you finish writing the book, but you never finish marketing. It's just. So hopefully these will work out for you. And in the meantime, happy reading, happy writing, happy marketing, and I'll see you in the next video.